What is up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Video Nasties, joined again by Retro Horror. And today we are doing Anthropophagus, or the Beast, or Man-Eater, or the Grim Reaper, or whatever title you want to go by, depending on what country you're in. Real quick, dive into spoilers right away because I want to cover really quick what the edits were, what the cuts were to this as far as being a video nasty. Now, this is according to IMDb. So the US R-rated and UK versions are missing the following scenes: the beast biting a man's neck and the subsequent blood flow, the entire fetus eating sequence, the beast biting Rita's throat as he pulls her head through the roof, the beast's intestines spilling out, and him eating them. So all that stuff was cut out, which is the best parts of the fucking movie, in my opinion, anyways. So that's a lot cut out of this movie.
And that was I guess what you got then was that was kind of the Grim Reaper cut in the US was the.
Yeah, this was the R-rated US and the UK version's original releases. Yeah, that's a lot cut out.
On this 88, they had the deleted scene of the. Basically, the story behind that was that the deleted scene was this girl throwing tarot cards in the water, and they, in order for Joe D'Amato to get the film through the censors, he basically showed him a different movie with that deleted scene of the woman throwing tarot cards in the water. And then when they passed it, he put all the gore footage back in.
So it's kind of like that TV cut of Nightmare Sisters where they replace all the nude scenes with them just doing stupid shit in the bedroom.
And then and then they get the rating and they release the nude version. Yeah, exactly. I tell you what, he's a character, man, Joe D'Amato.
Deleted scenes were just made to be filler for the scenes that were taken out. Yeah. So you want to run us through the brief synopsis? Not much of a story to this one, but.
Well, this is I guess the first place to start would be Anthropophagus is, according to Wikipedia, is the definition of it is it's a cannibal. So you've got this film. These people in Greece at this Greek island, this isolated island. A group of people go to this isolated Greek island, and unbeknownst to them, they've got. Terrorizing them is this cannibal man who just later on in the film we find out what the backstory is and how he got there, but that's essentially it. It's these people that decide to go to this isolated Greek island and get picked off one by the cannibal man, which was played by George Eastman, by the way. And I think George Eastman, I actually think the cannibal man and the way he portrayed him, I think that worked. I mean, I think it was very effective. Yeah. What wasn't effective was the second half of the film, which has a lot of what I call filler and a lot of walking around the island and walking around down hallways. And yeah,
I would say the first and second half after the initial kill scene is all filler until the last 20 minutes.
Yeah, it kind of plays like a Greek travelogue for Greece, the Greek islands. They're very beautiful, interesting to look at, but I don't know if I want to look at it for 45 minutes, which is kind of what you get. That's what you kind of get. I mean, the first 50 minutes of this really, except for the opening scene where you get a kill, the rest of it is a travelogue, effectively. I mean.
Yeah, and we've seen that plenty of times in horror films, though, where you get a kill right off the bat, just to draw you in, and you keep anticipating that next cool scene. And man, this thing just goes and goes, and that music, holy shit, that music is bad, man.
Well, you talk about the opening credits music?
No, just in general, it was like. Every time they hit that keyboard organ sound over the other music they had going, it was so overwhelming, so overbearing to the score of it. Just did
Yeah.
not work for me at all.
Yeah, the music is my issue with the second half of the film is there is no real music. It's just a lot of the scenes where you got them walking around, walking down hallways. You don't really have anything other than that. I mean, it's almost too quiet. It's yeah. I think the film has some pacing issues. I mean, let's just cut to the chase. It really has some pacing,
Oh yeah,
big time pacing issues.
but you do have Mia Farrow's sister in here, so
Yeah,
who's the lead of this one?
apparently Tisa Farrow. This is her last movie. Oh, she went on to be some nurse in Vermont. I read, which maybe Terry may try to hunt her down and find out where she is. But yeah, she became a nurse.
Yeah, I would say there was only like one scene in this movie. But by the way, for those watching, I was not a fan of this movie in general. I think this movie is garbage, and I'm not just saying that because I didn't like. I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with that, but it just didn't work for me on any level. There was only like one scene of suspense when towards the end, again, spoilers, when she falls down and she's on the ladder and he's in the water. That's like the only real like kind of suspenseful scene in the whole film to me, anyways. And I did get one jump scare when old girl came out of the barrel of wine, but
Yeah, I thought that was a very effective scene. It wasn't scary, but I think it was a very effective scene. The girl played it to the
yeah,
hill.
that was a very kind of like giallo kind of feel, the way it was shot on that
Yeah,
one. But
yeah,
those are probably the best two scenes not involving directly the killer. But like you said, I think he did a good job as the killer as well. I did like the way that he looked. I thought the makeup was pretty decent on him. Not so much in the flashback scene where he was out on the raft. That makeup was kind of bad, but his main makeup was pretty decent.
yeah. No, I thought it was effective, and I think his portrayal of the Campbell Man was effective. Interesting in the interview with him that he basically calls this movie crap, and
Mhm.
people that like this movie are weirdos.
I mean,
he wrote,
not
I guess you know he wrote the script too. He wrote it, and played it.
right.
Luigi under his real name Luigi. Shit, I forgot. I don't know his name, but George Eastman wrote it, and
Let's see. Let's see if I had it on here. Yeah, Luigi Montefarina or something.
yeah, something crazy like that.
I mean, it's not the worst movie I've ever seen in my life. I just don't see me revisiting this one for any particular reason. I just don't have the desire to.
Well,
Uh,
it's an endurance contest to get to the fetus kill. I mean, you know, that's the iconic scene that the whole world knows about. It's not even a spoiler anymore. But you know, he eats the baby. I mean, it's a long way to get there. You know, and the intestine scene after that. Those are basically two scenes that the film was known for.
yeah, I guess in the R-rated cut, it just stops after he's hit with the hatchet thing or
Yeah,
whatever,
kick-ass, yeah,
and then the movie just ends
yeah.
at that point. I couldn't help but to laugh at that scene though. Oh shit, I'm hungry. I mean that was a for that time, you know, that era, that was a pretty ballsy move to eat your. You don't see that often in film, you know.
No. Did,
Uh,
did you get the Joe D'Amato cameo? You know when they meet at the Tizaferro on the ski the lift, the sky
uh-huh,
lift, or whatever
uh-huh.
that thing is. He when they're exiting that lift, he's in the back with the little bearded guy. That's Joe D'Amato coming out with
Oh,
him.
okay, okay.
Yeah.
No, I was too busy just trying to stay awake at that point.
So he
That was the part I actually fell asleep on the first time I started watching this. Granted, I was tired when I put it on, but I thought it was going to be more entertaining. So obviously, for those watching again, this was my first time watching this. I'm sure you've seen this before.
Oh yeah, I've seen it maybe
Yeah.
5 or 6
So
times.
I did fall asleep during the first viewing. So if you guys haven't seen this movie, personally, I would suggest just skipping the first hour of this movie and just go from there, because it, like you said, it is a definite endurance test. I'm glad it's right at 90 minutes, because 2 hours of this, there's no way in hell I would have made it through.
I mean,
Uh,
yeah, the first 10 minutes kind of setting up the story, and then at time like 55 minutes in, so the first 10 minutes and the last 30 is really the movie. The rest of it is this dynamic between the couples and the group. Uh,
yeah.
you've got some sexual tension going on, and the girls are fighting. I mean, over this one guy, and there's just a lot of filler. I mean,
And,
that's the bottom line.
and then there's a lot of movies that do that, and I honestly I don't have a problem with that. A lot of horror films start out, or even like this altogether. They start out with like a cool scene, and then it takes an hour, and then the last half hour is really cool. And really don't have an issue with that. It's just that the characters were not interesting whatsoever. What they were doing was not interesting at all. If you're gonna have all that in between, you have to make us interested in what's going on in between the
Well, and
scenes.
the bottom line, I think you've got some fairly ineffective acting. It's
Right.
wooden. It's the dialogue's kind of. I mean, Italian films are notorious for the dubbing and kind of this flat acting, particularly with the dialogue and language barriers. But uh, I don't attribute that to this. I think this is just flat acting. I mean, Tisa Farrow. I think hopefully she's a better nurse than she is an actress, because this is. Now the other interesting girl in this, the girl that read the tarot cards, is Zora Karova. She was in a couple of Fulci films. She was in the New York Ripper, and of course she was in Cannibal Ferox too. But even her acting, I think, wasn't. I mean, she was okay, but she didn't. When she was reading the tarot cards and trying to create this foreboding that's going to come, the bad things to come. I mean, really, they're flat. It comes off very flat and ineffective.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that and just the way it was, again, the way it was shot, the way the music was there, those scenes with the tarot cards could have been more effective, even if certain zoom angles on the cards and certain camera effects making it feel more intense. Even with the bad acting, you can still work with that and make it seem like it really means something, which in the end didn't even really mean shit.
Right.
um it's just, I don't know. I don't feel like anybody cared about what they were doing making this film.
Did you notice the opening credits? It was another different title called The Savage Island.
Yes, yes, yes.
Um, this thing has more titles than a Jess Franco movie. It's got
I know. That's, I stopped
Grim
after a
Reaper.
few.
Yeah, Grim Reaper, Savage Island. It's even was called Zombie 7 and Zombie 6. If you look, I mean, it's got so many different titles. It's crazy.
And that's kind of what I thought he was at first. Was like came back from the dead or something, until you get that little flashback scene, which, and even with that, like, it just came out of nowhere too. Like, it was inserted just oddly. They're
Right.
just like, there's no setup for it. There's no build up to this flashback scene. It just pops up out of nowhere, and you're like, oh, okay, this is him before he became this. Okay, and that was his family or whatever.
Yeah, there's
Like,
some story motivation, character motivation problems with this one too, because I mean, you got this pregnant woman. She hurts her ankle getting off the boat, and they just fucking leave her. I mean, what's that all about? Just leave. Oh well, you're hurt. Okay, we'll just leave your ass at the boat.
which I never noticed her ankle being any different than what it was. But
Yeah, but my point. I mean, why would you leave a pregnant woman, to fend for herself on a damn boat?
and like I messaged you while I was watching it, the whole time she's being attacked, her husband or whoever the fuck it was that was with her, he's stabbed in like the shoulder, and he's just
Right.
watching this go on, just pull the fucking knife out of your damn shoulder and attack this guy. What? Why are you just watching? What the fuck?
Yeah, I mean, there's just a bunch of issues with this, but the biggest letdown, I think, is the pacing and the acting. I mean, uh, there's been a lot of films, particularly Italian films, that were effective, even they were slow paced because they were atmospheric and you had effective acting. And really, this is an example of bad acting. I mean,
I think the best actress in here was the blind chick. The blind girl is the best one. There's one other scene, and then I'll let you do what you want to do. I think you're going to do the kills for us or something. But there's one scene that really bothered me. I don't know why it bothered me. When they're in his lair or whatever with all the skeletons and shit, right? Which was actually a cool set piece there. I did enjoy that. He picks her up or carries her, starts carrying her out, and the next scene back to it, they're back to where they just were before that. Like, what happened? They started moving and then they just decided to go all the way back. That scene just really bugs me. I don't know.
I don't know. That maybe it was poorly edited. It could be an editing issue.
It's like you think they're on their way out of this area and then right back where they started. But I think you had something for us here.
Well, I did a Joe Bob Briggs rundown of this one, and surprisingly, it's a pretty lengthy one for a movie that's got a lot of filler. All right, so we've got ocean drowning. We've got butcher knife to the skull. We've got sailboat vomiting. Gratuitous product placement. See all those Coke cans? I wonder if
I did notice that too. I was like, yep, that's right. Turn the can where we can see it.
Now, obviously it's an Italian film. Coke didn't put any money in this. So they probably just. But wow, the Coke cans. I mean, unless you're getting money for it as a producer. I mean, we got tarot card premonitions. We've got one abandoned pregnant woman. But that's, again, I just can't figure out why you'd leave a pregnant woman to fend for herself like that. Actually, we got multiple desiccated corpses. One head in a bucket, which really looked bad. That head in the bucket was pretty fake. I mean, real fake. And that was kind of like Andy Milligan type stuff. We've got female stone dragging. When George Eastman's dragging the pregnant woman, dragging her on the ground.
Yeah.
One terribly telegraphed jump scare. I don't know if you remember that one. I'm not talking about the wine scene. Kitty cat piano playing. Did you notice the kitty cat trying to play piano?
I think I might have missed that.
One wine vat jump scare, and that's a very effective one. I thought she was great at. I mean, you're right. I think she probably was the best actress in the film. One nasty neck chomping. You got to admit now that neck chomping scene. That was like, oh god.
Yeah, that's that old school latex that I really do enjoy though. I enjoy that. I don't know. It's just something about you can't outdo the latex kills like that.
Yeah, I thought that was very effective. One staircase rope hanging, mirror smashing, multiple knife stabbings. Now we get into crotch grabbing, uterus fisting. Are you gonna edit this?
Nope.
Baby, we got the baby munching. And by the way, the baby really, I mean, everybody makes big hay out of that scene like it's some horrible thing.
It doesn't look real at all.
No, it doesn't even look like a baby.
No, don't worry. This is already demonetized. Don't worry about
that. Throat slashing, hair pulling, more neck munching. We got leg stabbing, roof crashing, pickaxe stomach stabbing. Then we got one arm rope hanging. We got water well diving. And then finally we got intestine munching. Pretty decent list.
Yeah. I will say the end of they put a lot into the end of this movie.
The last 30 minutes.
There was a lot that happened in the last 10, 15 minutes of this. It was just they could have spread some of that out.
Right, right. I mean,
But again, the kills.
if you took, say, the actors in Friday the 13th Part 4 and made that your group on this Greek island, I think you would have had a classic on your hands. I mean, to me, this movies boil down to a good script and great acting. I mean, the camera work's important, special effects are important, but what carries the movie in those down periods is effective acting and a good script. And
I hate to say it, but the lack of nudity kind of ruined it. I mean,
and Joe
as much as
D'Amato, yeah, I know Joe D'Amato's famous for porn. I mean, why did we have some crotch shots and ass shots and all kind? We should have had a lot more nudity in this too. You're right.
If this would have been an American film, from that time frame, you would have had, your drugs and alcohol, your cheesy bad dancing, your sexual shit going on. You would have had good filler in there of laughable stuff, and the Italians just it's a little different.
I agree. It's shocking. If you'd have given this to Franco, we'd have gotten that.
I mean, there's some bad movies out there, man. Like, I just reviewed Hobgoblins. Is that a great movie? Fuck no. But it was entertaining as hell. You had bad dancing. You had weird shit. It's like,
yeah, there's not a lot to grab onto on this, but at the end of the day, it has some nostalgia. It has some iconic kills. I'm kind of in the 5 out of 10. It's not one that I go back to very often. I mean, in fact, I wouldn't probably even watch it unless we're doing this series. But
yeah, I mean, I know it has its following. They even have made a figure, the Severin figure for the character and everything, and it's definitely got its niche market out there. I saw reviews on IMDb anywhere from 9s to 2s.
Right.
It's definitely got an audience.
Honestly, I prefer Absurd, the next one. The sequel.
I hope so.
I prefer Absurd to this one. Better story.
No, that's not a straight sequel though, right? That's like a sequel. Is it a straight sequel?
It's just yeah. I mean, it's just George Eastman eating people. I mean, it's not set on an island anymore. He's just running around, kind of loose in like this neighborhood, attacking people. Basically, they capture him and bring him back to a hotel. Bring him back to a hospital, and then he breaks loose from the hospital and starts eating people.
That's why he's like Jason and
yeah.
That's going to be our next one, right?
If you want to, we can do it. Yeah.
We might as well do the sequel next. I know that probably takes us out of order as going back and forth between banned and not banned.
I don't remember. Was Absurd section 1?
Let's see. Yes.
Okay. I guess let's go ahead and do that one too. Get it over with.
Yeah, might as well. It can't be any worse than this one. So if I had to rate it, I'd give it, unfortunately, I'll give it a 4. I didn't want to give it that much, only because of the kills. I just don't think it's enough payoff for what you have to get through to get to it.
Right, and I'm at a 5 because of the kills, and I do think the setting was and the cinematography was adequate. So, I mean, the acting is a definite letdown, and the pacing is off. But
yeah, and if that was shot with like today's cameras, it would have looked amazing too. Like, but the cameras and stuff that they used in this, and with a lot of movies from back then, like Island of Death and all that stuff. It just looks like it doesn't look very appealing on these islands because of the cameras they were using and everything. Like I say,
16 millimeter, right?
Yeah. Was this 16?
Yeah, they did a 16 millimeter and then blew it up.
Yeah, but if you would have shot this with a nice 4K camera today or something, oh man, that island would look amazing. It doesn't do it justice in these
Yeah.
films.
Both of these releases, this is the 88 and then the Severn, are 2K scans. I think they both look great from the camera negatives. I think they look. I thought it looked great. Picture quality looked fantastic, and the sound quality was so good. I had to turn it down so I couldn't hear that keyboard, Casio keyboard.
I mean, I was okay with the other noise they had going on
Right.
under that, you know, just that suspense kind of jingle, whatever the fuck you want to call it. But
Jingle.
once that just overwhelming organ sound came in, it's just too much.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. It was too much. I agree.
All right,
All
well,
right.
we'll be back with absurd at some point.
Yeah, we're gonna do absurd next, and thanks for watching. Appreciate it.
Yep. Let us know what you guys think of this if you guys have seen it. If not, throw it on, skip an hour in, and enjoy. So, till next time, guys. Peace, love, happiness, all y'all, and we'll catch you later.